Hello, everybody. Welcome to Optimize Your Body with Martin Silva, myself. And today I will be exchanging views with myself. There is no one here to help me out and chime in when I run out of things to say or lose my trail of thought. So it's just me, myself, and I today. So thank you for tuning in. And today is the 30th of December, 5 days after Christmas. I am sat here in my apartment in Sydney, in Australia. Boiling hot. It's 30 degrees. I've had to turn the fan off so you can hear me. And here we are. But yeah, so just want to give you a quick heads up. Some people are a bit confused as to my logistics and, where I'm at in the world and stuff. It's like, what's he doing in Australia? He's from the UK. Anyway, I'm currently 30 years old. I'm from the UK originally, from Wales, from the capital, Cardiff. And I moved out to Sydney, Australia in April last year. So I've been here for around about 9 months. Why did I move away to the other side of the world? Good question. So I just wanted to move somewhere where there's more opportunity within the fitness industry and just to get the most out of the remaining part of my modeling career as a fitness model. You'll have to bear with me today. I've just had a strong coffee and I'm pretty wired. So bear with me. I wanted to come where there was more opportunity, wanted to make some more money as a fitness and fashion model. Originally, I wanted to move to the States, to New York City, where my best buddy lives. And most of you have heard him on the podcast, Mr. Bond Fitness, or Andrew Bond. Yeah, so I was gonna move out there. Long story short, didn't get my working visa, got rejected, and then decided, right, do I move to London, which is only around 2 hours away from where I live, in a car, or do I move to the other side of the world? I have a few friends here in Sydney. I thought about the weather, I thought about the opportunity, and I thought I'd give it a go. So here I am, and it was a good decision. Things are moving forward here, but yeah, my objective right now is to try and build my online, not try, sorry, that's the wrong word to use, to build my online business. So I have designed a good training program, which I'm going to release in a few weeks' time, and I'm going to be pushing that on and starting off with some really good discount, by the way, so stay tuned for that. And just generally start maybe building up some more sponsors and just go from there. But this podcast is something that I enjoy doing, and it's a good way to reach people. And I just think this day and age is kind of becoming a lost art now when it comes to human interactions and communicating with each other face to face. Everything is digital now. We're all glued to our phones. I think the average person spends about 2.5 hours a day on social media alone. But without going off too much into that, I just think it's a very powerful thing nowadays just to speak to people and hold conversations. So it's a very, very enjoyable thing to do as well. But anyway, today I'm going to be discussing the ego. Okay, so, or AKA your inner bitch. Okay, so now let me just give you a quick heads up on the ego and what I've learned about it and how it can propel you forward or stop you in your tracks and define you, essentially. So I'll give you a quick insight into an amazing book I read. It's in the top 3 of my favorite books, and it is called The Chimp Paradox. Can't think of the name of the author now. Get this book, honestly, The Chimp Paradox. So the ego is essentially the animal in you, right? So, whether you believe it or not, we evolved something like 2 million years ago from chimpanzees, right? So again, I'm not going to go into too much of a tangent about that, but we share 98% of our DNA with a chimpanzee, right? So we're only technically 2% human. Now, what does that mean? It means that the majority of the thoughts you perceive in your mind and the data and things you actually absorb from the external world, what you see around you, goes directly through your chimp first. Okay, so your ego is, another word for ego is, the way I look at it is the animal inside of you, right? That's the way I'm going to describe it today. I find that's the best way to describe it. Now, the ego and the chimp just wants to keep you safe, right? So, from a chimpanzee perspective, we evolved from the jungle, right? So we would live in a jungle where there would be predators and danger continuously, right? So we would, just looking to survive, and that is essentially what the ego, the ego is. It's just survival software. We have a 2 million-year-old brain in our head, right? So where I'm going with this now is the ego can take over your life, right? Essentially, it can define you. You can let fear define you, because the animal inside of us just wants to keep us safe, right? Now, an example. So you could probably hear it on my voice now. Okay, so I'm not 100%. I'm a little bit run down. So here in Australia, it was a very, very different experience at Christmas time. Okay, so it's just party season. So it's peak summer. Yes, I had a Christmas dinner with some friends. I have friends here from back home in Wales, luckily. Had a traditional Christmas roast, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. And then it just turned into one big party. Okay, then I went away for a few days with my current girlfriend, and I have indulged a bit more than usual, not quite eating right. I've still got lots of healthy food in. I make sure of that because my body cries out for that nowadays. Wow, my throat sounds really bad, doesn't it? But yeah, so where was I going? Right. So yeah, I haven't looked after myself principally as much as I would, on a day-to-day basis. So the partying as well. So I drank alcohol and quite a lot of it, and that, around about 3 days in a row. Okay, which for me is a lot. It's very toxic. And yeah, so yesterday I came back home. We arrived back in the evening on whatever day it was. Yesterday I had the whole day to myself, and it was almost like I hit a low. Okay, so all the partying caught up with me. I've been away. I was on a high. Enjoying myself. Come back. Don't get me wrong. It's great here. Where I live in Coogee in Sydney. It's a beautiful place, live right by the beach. But I had a bit of work to do. I wanted to get some stuff done on my YouTube, put some more videos up there ready for my program. And I was just in a negative thought pattern all day long. And as I mentioned at the start, the inner bitch, okay? So I had this little bitch voice in my head all day, which is not you essentially thinking. It's the ego, it's the animal inside of you trying to keep you safe and talking you out of doing things which are uncomfortable. And for me, it was uncomfortable having to just type up a blog and do some normal things, which effectively meant I was back to reality as such, right? And I was just being so negative. So, I was thinking stuff like, what's the point in all of this? As I'm typing my blog up, I'm thinking, what's the point? What am I doing this for? Now, my aim, is to help people. I want people to achieve good health and get to the position where I am now, which is a fantastic place to be in regards to health and how I look and stuff like that. Aesthetically, I'm in really, really good shape. I've had an injury. I haven't even been training much, but I know what to eat. I know what my body needs. Yes, I still had lots of crappy food over the Christmas period, but I've maintained my physique. I've done a lot of activity mind. I've done some long walks, which wasn't really planned, but walked down the beach the other day on Boxing Day. Then I've done a hike when I went away, and I've moved a lot, so I've got away with it. But like I said, mentally, I felt terrible. Physically, I still look good. But yeah, what I'm getting at here is I really want to get people to a place where they're eating intuitively, where they're connected with their body. People always ask me questions like, are you, how do you do it? How do you do it? Like, how do you be strict all the time? As if it's like a chore, right? And I haven't got a life. I have a life. I have a great life. If I want to eat a pizza and some ice cream, I'll do it. And believe you me, about 15% of the time, maybe 20, 10, 15% of the time, I eat some shitty foods. Sometimes I have a bit of alcohol, but 80, 85% of the time, say 80, 90% of the time, I'm pretty much on my game. Just looking after myself, drinking, loads of water, training properly, eating the right foods, sleeping enough, the simple things in life, these simple kind of factors is what's going to propel you forward on your fitness journey. But where I'm going with this now, I'm going off on a tangent. This coffee's strong. Never do it, folks. Actually, I would recommend it. 3 shots of coffee. Basically, get a large coffee, right? So you get 3 shots here in Australia, and just have it in a regular size amount of water, right? So it's a small amount of water, and it's 3 shots, and wired. Anyway, so where I'm going with this is, I was sat here yesterday, and I'm like, why am I doing this? What's the point in this? Why am I sat here doing stuff I hate doing? I really didn't enjoy it yesterday. Like right now, I'm sat here in front of my laptop, essentially talking to myself right now, right? But I know it's going to reach a few people when I release it. But I'm enjoying it. Yes, I've had a strong coffee. Okay, that's going to help. I've had a surge of dopamine in my brain, which is, I'm mindful of that. But, I feel a lot better today because yesterday I looked after myself, ate well, had a decent sleep, not a great sleep, but I feel better anyway. When I woke up, I felt better. And now I'm sat here and I'm enjoying the process, And that, my friends, is kind of the purpose of this podcast. The ego, effectively, right? It's just based on memory. Okay, so let's think about it. How often do we sit here stressing about the past? The memory is gonna kind of drive thoughts into you, right? Which from the past and can't be changed. Okay, so sometimes we'll reminisce on the past and we'll feel happy about it, but for the most part we stress about what's happened in the past, right? And sometimes dwell on things and whatnot. And then it's either that or we're getting anxious about the future and we're anticipating forward in our mind. And what I call this, I read this in a really good book, right, which is another really good read, and his name is James Altucher. The book is called Choose Yourself. Okay, and time warping, he says, and it's stuck in my head ever since. How often are we time warping? Now, the ego is just constantly trying to keep you safe, right? Like I said, it's a 2 million year old brain, and that part, 98% of that brain is chimpanzee, right? So do the maths, and we're constantly time warping, right? So being present is the art, okay? So to control that little bitch voice, you're never going to get rid of it. You need to do things to help yourself, right? So for example, training, exercise, regular. So if you're sitting there and you're getting negative thoughts or you're getting a bit low and depressed with it, which you can do if you listen to that voice, because it will define you if you allow it. Go out for a walk, focus on taking some deep breaths as well. Okay, so meditation is something in 2018, that is my main kind of resolution, if you like. I'm going to stick to it day in, day out. Now, I've done it before, but I haven't stuck to it long enough to get the full benefits. I'm going to sit there in the morning for 5 minutes, and I'm just going to breathe. Just going to close my eyes, breathe from my nose, breathe out of my mouth, focus on my breathing. Then I'll build it to 10 minutes, and then I'll probably go into more deeper types of meditation where you can actually transcend and really kind of communicate with your soul. So that's it. It's being present, right? This is what life's all about, enjoying the process. So I'm sat here right now. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm being present. I'm just listening to what I'm saying. I'm not analyzing what I'm saying too much, but I'm talking. I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of getting in touch with my soul a bit, right? And that's what life's all about. So to be present and to be in the moment takes a lot of work. Now, I am world's worst for time warping, right? And I know that I'm not being present most of the time. Okay, now I look at people that I look up to. For example, there's certain people whose podcasts I listen to. There's people who are really successful, like Tony Robbins, the entrepreneur, and people like everyone. They all meditate. They all do some form of meditation. Now, the mind is no different to the body in that sense. You need to train it just like your muscles. If you want to pump your muscles up, you want to get some gains in the gym, you need to work them. You need to do some weight training or whatever it is, resistance training. It's no different to the mind. It takes practice. You need to be mindful. You need to breathe. You need to do meditation, and you need to really focus on it and find ways to de-stress. Now, meditation is one form. One thing I wanted to delve deeper into was cold showers. Now, I am absolutely addicted to cold water. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I live in Australia, so I understand a lot of you listening to this are going to be in the States or the UK, where it's currently going to be quite cold in most parts of America and the whole of the UK. So cold showers are not the top of your list right now, right? So it's a lot easier for me because it's boiling here. But even over the last few months now, when it was a bit colder here, cold showers are something that I've became addicted to. Cold water. So yesterday, for example, I was getting all worked up. I had that little bitch, the inner bitch, was loud yesterday, was very prominent and amplified, and it was just winding me up. And I was in really kind of a bad place yesterday mentally because I worked myself up internally. So I thought, right, that's enough. I'm not getting much work done. I'm going to go to the beach. Now, I understand I'm very fortunate to be able to do this, but I just wanted to go into the cold water, into the sea. That is what I was after. So I went in there, jumped in the cold water, read my book, come back, a new man. Right, but then I still had that bitch voice come back then as well because I was just run down. But cold showers work wonders, or cold water in general. But I have cold showers. I never have warm showers anymore. So I'll jump in the shower, I'll scrub. Sometimes you need to keep cleansed, right? You have to clean properly. And your ass isn't in the bloody shower very long. Let me tell you, when you have a nice cold shower first thing in the morning, a bloody 4:15 in the morning before my clients, your ass ain't in that shower for very long, right? So I found ways now. I'll do like 1 to 2 minutes. I'll scrub, and then I'll just that's me done. Then rinse off. I'm done. But occasionally I'll just jump in. I don't always use soap and shampoo. It's not good to use all the time. Those chemicals go into your body, right? So anything you put on your skin goes into your body. Be mindful of that. So I don't like to use stuff like that all the time. And most of the time I'll just jump in, cold shower, give myself a scrub with my bare hands, 1 minute, and I'm out. And boy, does it wake you up. So the benefits of cold water and cold showers are really quite groundbreaking, right? So they improve circulation, and also cold showers will strengthen the blood vessels around your heart. Okay, so really good for overall cardiovascular health. It's been known to relieve depression as well. Now this is quite extreme. Obviously, there's going to be other tools and methods you're going to need to use and apply to relieve depression, obviously, but it's going to help for sure. When you have a cold shower, like for example this morning, I jumped in the cold shower. I think I was stressing about stupid things again. Like I said, I'm human. I'm quite a type A personality where I am all in or I'm all out. But now I found a lot more balance, so I'm not quite as extreme as I was before. So I'm balanced more. But that kind of mindset, I find, I like being. I mean, I like to be uncomfortable because I know based on past experiences, when I put myself in uncomfortable positions and push myself out of my comfort zone, good things start to happen. But anyway, this morning, jumped in the shower. I was stressing a bit too much, right, over stupid things. Jump in there, and the cold water hits me, and straight away I start thinking more positive because it's a survival mechanism, right? So the inner chimp, as I'm going to call it, all the way through, will then kind of go into shock because it's just trying to keep you alive. Cold water. Now, don't get me wrong, my body's adapted to it now, so my body kind of knows what's coming. But even so, when that cold water hits you, straight away you release. I really struggle to pronounce this bloody word. I just practiced before this podcast as well. Do you know what, right? Whilst you're here, I'm going to actually listen to it on Google now. Norepinephrine? Norepinephrine? Right. Right, just hold fire, because I want to know how to pronounce it, and it's going to annoy me. It's a neurochemical in the brain. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. I'm going to play it on Google. But anyway, this chemical is released in quite a high amount when you have a shower. Listen to this now.
Norepinephrine.
There we go. There it is. Norepinephrine. So that neurochemical is released, and there's a few other chemicals as well. And it's a feel-good chemical, so it makes you feel good. So straight away, it must have been the neurochemicals released in my brain. Norepinephrine was one of them, and it made me feel more positive. I was thinking more positive straight away. I was just thinking, be grateful, blah, 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 because that cold water hits you, and you ain't stressing about stupid things because it's quite uncomfortable, Anyway, you should definitely try this, right? And there's numerous other health benefits, strengthens immunity. Oh, big one for the guys and for the ladies. Massive. And I've noticed the difference as well. Increases testosterone, right? And growth hormone as well. So they've done studies and, it increased it at quite a drastic rate for most people, testosterone levels. But again, you need to be consistent and you need to allow your body to adapt, just like anything. So trust me, cold showers are the way forward. I know it sounds really uncomfortable and tough. Just do it. Allow yourself a couple of days and you'll get used to it. After about 5-10 seconds now, it's like just being in a pair of pajamas, lying on my bed. It's comfortable. So, cold showers really, really help with my mind massively, and cold water in general really changes my mindset completely. So I'd highly recommend that, and also for gains in the gym and all around health. If you look at the Scandinavians, they also saunas are really, really good for testosterone and for cardiovascular health and longevity. And they've done studies in the Scandinavians, and every day they'll do, the kind of regime they do is they'll do like a 15-minute hot sauna, and then they'll jump into the freezing cold Antarctic waters for 5 minutes, and they'll do that like 4 times. That's like an hour altogether, and it switches on certain genes which improve longevity, so you'll live for longer and just better all-around health. So yeah, give that a blast. But yeah, I hope most of you can relate to what I'm saying here now. So that voice in your head, which is continuous from the second you wake up in the morning, the inner bitch, right? The bitch voice, the little bitch voice. I find this the worst in the morning personally. I wake up in the morning and it's like, oh God, everything's a hassle and a chore, and then as you start waking up, I get a coffee on board to have a cold shower, and I'm in a more positive mindset. But it's there to keep you alive. It's essential to keep you alive. In fact, that chimp, right? That chimp voice or bitch voice, whatever you want to call it. But don't let it define you. So you can achieve anything you want to achieve if you put your mind to it. Trust me on that now. There's a lot more things I want to achieve and succeed in life. But trust me, this voice, don't let it get the better of you. To combat it, right, try meditating, train, go out for walks, cold showers, okay? All these things are going to help. All in all, your mind is going to be governed by what you put into your body. So you need to stay focused on eating the right foods, getting your veggies in, so on and so forth. Eat organic and all the rest of it, like I've said in the past. So I guess the moral of the story is we can all relate to the voice you get in your head telling you not to do things and don't do this, don't do that. You'll get the drive to do something and then you won't do it. And there's lots of things that I haven't done in the past because I've let that voice control me. But now I've learned to realize that it's not actually me. It's just a bitch voice. Okay, so don't let it control you. Don't let it define you. Try meditating. I can tell you a really good app to get you on your way. It's called Headspace, and you get the first 10 sessions for free. Really good. It really kind of got me tuned into meditation, although I haven't done it regular recently. Like I said, I'm going to get back into it. Yeah, meditating will completely change the molecular structure and slow down the aging process as well. So think about it. When we're time warping, when we're stressing about the past or getting anxious about the future, we are obviously putting our body into more stress. So it does make sense. It's not going to do your aging process any favors. So being present is the art, people. Okay, so try meditating and just try focusing on your breathing. If you really find yourself getting those, that little inner bitch voice stopping you from doing things and trying to control you, take some deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, try that like 10 times. Always helps me when I get stressed. The moral of the story, as I was saying, try meditating, get the Headspace app, lift some weights, do some exercise, try having cold showers, try throwing in the odd sauna as well. I'm not going to bombard you with any more for now, right? Now, that was a really random podcast, never mapped out as I planned it to. Maybe that coffee played a part in it. Who knows? But what I would like you to do is please subscribe to my podcast, and if you can, leave a 5-star rating and a nice review if you can on iTunes. It'd be a massive help. Really trying to grow this podcast now to inform people on what real health is and veer them away from all the bullshit we get thrown at us from the internet. So that's the world we live in now. We have lots of good information, but lots of shitty information. So you just got to siphon it out. Trust me, tune into this podcast, and you're gonna be pushing forward with your health And let's face it, you're going to be looking great. That's the most important thing. Let's say, well, it's not really health is the most important thing, but I know right now most of you listening, you want to look good, right? I know you want to feel good as well, but you want to look good, right? The most people I come across, sorry, for the most part, people I come across, they want to look good over health. I've got myself to a point now where I'm focused on how I feel, my energy, my sleep, my libido, all these things, and my physique has come as a side effect, which is the level you want to get to eventually. But if you listen to this podcast, you're now on the right tracks, and you're going to grab the wall. You're going to grab the wall by the balls. Okay, so go subscribe to my podcast, check out my YouTube channel, Martin Silva Fitness, and go hit me up on Instagram because that's where I do my thing. That's where I spend most of my time. At Martin Silva Fitness. Go follow me and stay tuned for my new training program. It's a 9-week plan. It's going to get your metabolism roaring. It's going to burn fat. You're going to build some serious muscle, and then we're on to the next one. So after that 9 weeks, I'm working on some stuff to do after that as well, because it should be a life. I want to be lifting weights to the day I die, and it needs to be sustainable for a lifetime, not just 9 weeks. Okay, so I'm not about these short-term fixes. I'm about changing people's life, okay, for the better, and getting you fit, healthy, and happy, and fulfilled, for the rest of your life. Okay, fulfillment, that is something else altogether. That is another game. I'm, obviously still working to get to that point. There's happiness, and then there's fulfillment. You can achieve what you want out of life. You can accumulate and achieve and get all these materialistic things or whatever it is, right, but still not be fulfilled by the end of it. Okay, so fulfillment is key, and that's where the mind comes into it. So focus on looking after your mind, folks. Start meditating. I'm going to start now, 2018. This is the way forward. Let's get our mind in check and then get our bodies to follow suit. Okay, that was a massive rant and rave. I hope I didn't lose you there. And as I say, please go check me out on my socials, as I mentioned previously. And if you're struggling to get your veg in, or your nutrients in general, go check out Organifi. Okay, you get 15% off if you use code Martin Silva at checkout, right? So Organifi, 15% off at the checkout, right? Go check it out. Get the green juice. The green juice is the one. Okay. Also, the red juice is great. They've got loads of good products, but green juice is the one if you're not getting your veg in. And their protein is amazing too. It's a vegan protein, all organic. Obviously, the name kind of tells a story. Thank you for tuning in, folks, right? And sorry about the tangent, but I think that coffee was a bit too strong. I won't be doing that again. Peace and love. Happy New Year in advance. Go celebrate and have some fun. Happy New Year. Enjoy the celebrations. Love you loads.